Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin Silver. I'm the RingCentral trainer for today. I've been with RingCentral about 4.5 years-ish. Started out in sales and then transitioned over to training. It's just so much nicer to be speaking to all of you lovely people. Today is going to be an end user basics training for Georgetown. So this should be just for anybody who's going to be using the system, not a lot of admin focused stuff. I'll go through an agenda here shortly. But for anybody joining late, this is how you join the audio. Remember, you can also use the chat functionality as well to ask a question or unmute yourself. So what is RingCentral and why are you here today? Other than, I guess, your admin told you to. RingCentral is your new audio, video, conferencing communications platform. So that means your calling, faxing, conferencing, etc. is all going to be done via RingCentral. Now, RingCentral is quite a big beast. There's quite a bit that it can do, but luckily you don't need to worry about most of it. Today, we're just going to go through the basics of what you need to know as an end user. So if you're a teacher, this is going to be primarily for you. Mr. Ruiz, no, it's actually going to be a different app. So I will show you that later when we get to it. There's a multiple RingCentral apps. You're looking for the one that says RingCentral phone app. So before we get started with the meat of this here, this is how you can control yourself. So you do have some nonverbal stuff here if you want to communicate that way with me. I'll try to keep an eye on this. You can also use the chat. Remember, you can send a message to everybody and then everyone will see it. Or you can use a private message just to me and we'll call you out. Or you can unmute yourself at any time and ask your question out loud as well. Whatever you prefer. Now, like I mentioned, RingCentral is a big beast, but you don't need to know a lot of it. However, if you do want to learn more, you can go to knowledge.ringcentral.com. And by the way, I will be providing you all of these links via the chat at the end of the training. So don't worry too much about writing these down right now. This is where you can go for additional learning, extra topics, more info, etc. Now, as far as an agenda for the day, we're going to start off with how do you activate your RingCentral extension. You'll get an email. This is just the first step. Then we'll go over the major app that most of you will be using, the RingCentral phone app. That's on your computer. Then we'll briefly talk about the mobile version of that app. And then we'll wrap up. Ideally, we should be done in about 30, 40 minutes, so I can let you go a bit. But again, please feel free to ask me questions. This is your time. So if you're unsure about something, let me know. My kind of ask for you throughout this presentation is to think about your own daily communications right now. How do you call? How do you conference? How do you text, etc.? Anything that you do right now. And if there's some gap between what you do now and what I'm showing you, let me know so I can help close that gap and make sure that this is a successful system for you. Cool? I'm going to assume cool. If I hear nothing, I'll assume that's fine. So yes, no, maybe so. Cool. Glorious. Thanks, Kate. All righty. I'm going to turn off my video. I know, I'm sorry. My unshaven quarantine self has been painful to watch even this long. And let's get into the meat of this. First thing we're going to talk about then is activating your RingCentral extension. So remember that each one of you is going to be getting a RingCentral extension. That means you'll get a number and an extension. The number may be the one that you're familiar with. It may be a new one. MJ, maybe you can answer that one. I believe most of the time that you're going to port over your numbers. Is that accurate?
Yes, all numbers have been ported.
Okay,
so
cool.
Whatever number they were using before, they remain the same.
Great. So then don't worry about a new number. It's the same one you're used to. Brilliant. In order to activate your extension, you will get an email from support@ringcentral.com. Occasionally, this will route to your junk or spam folder, so check there too. If you still don't see it, contact your admin who can resend it. Please also note that this email is a 48-hour expiration. That means you have 48 hours after you receive the email to go through it and activate your account. If you do not, you will need to contact your admin and get it resent to you. When you click on set up your account, it will prompt you to create a password, a PIN, and a security question. Password is pretty critical. Of course, that's your password to log into any RingCentral app. Your PIN number will only matter if you're using a physical desk phone. because you will need the PIN number here to access your voicemail via a physical hardware desk phone. Unless you're using that, it won't matter that much. And then your security question and answer. Of course, this is fairly straightforward. You're generally going to want this if you need to make changes to your account, if our support needs to confirm who you are. Pretty lucky for me that my childhood nickname turned out to be the company I was working for, right? Weird. After that, we'll take you to your Express setup here, which involves your user info, your call handling and forwarding, and your voicemail. Now, this should just match what you're used to. So your number you're used to, your name you're used to, match that there. This, by default, will just ring the app first. And for 99% of you, that's what you're going to want. So you probably won't have to change this much. Then your voicemail, this is where you can re-record it so that it isn't a robot. By default, it will be, "Thank you for calling Martin Silver. Beep, beep, boop, boop," and it's a robot. So you'll want to hit change and then re-record it via your computer, or you can import something if you already have it recorded. Now, that was pretty quick. Are there any questions on activating your extension? Remember, you can unmute yourself, you can type in a question, you can send it to me publicly or privately. And if I hear nothing, I'll move on. Okie doke. Then let's go to the meat of this, which is the RingCentral phone app. This is actually my personal favorite version of the app, so nice. The phone app is one that you will download. Remember that you'll want the phone app specifically. There are a couple different versions of the app. One of them just says RingCentral. The other one says RingCentral Classic. You want the one that says phone. That's this right here. RingCentral phone. It's got the little phone icon in there. Looks like this. And I'm just going to show you this live, so you don't have to keep watching a PowerPoint all day. Just, most of the day. So here's what I see on my main page. You can see I've got this dial pad selected here. On this main page, I have calling functionality. First thing I'm going to go over, though, is up here at the top on my number. Click on that number. You can see it lets me change my status. I can set myself as busy or available. Note that these are appearance only. So it's not actually going to change how you take or receive calls or notifications. It just tells people that you might be busy. However, do not disturb will change those settings. If you set yourself to do not disturb, then you will not get any notifications for anything. No calls, no texts, no faxes, no voicemails. All of that stuff will just wait until you turn off do not disturb, and then it will all flood in. So it's a powerful tool. It can be useful if you truly don't want to be disturbed. However, keep in mind that you won't get anything on that. As far as making a call goes, the first option here is just type in the number. And then you hit call. It does actually have to be a real number, or that won't work. Note that you do not have to type a 1 or a 9 or any sort of pre-dialing. Just type in the number and it'll work. Now, alternately, this is integrated with my contacts list. So you see if I click here on contacts, this is my internal company contacts list. For you, it'll be other teachers, receptionists, managers, principals, etc. In order to connect that, you'll go down here to settings, click on contacts, and then make sure that this is synced correctly. If you're using Gmail, sync it here. If you're using Outlook, sync it here. Because this is integrated with my contacts list, I don't need to memorize anybody's number or extension, which is great because I'm bad at that. I can just type in someone's name, and they pop right up. I can see their availability immediately. So for example, I can see Rose is busy, whereas Rosemary is free. I can also see every number tied to that user. Rose being a test user, she's got a few. You will all see probably just one. Let's say I want to make a call to Rose then. I just click on her name and hit call. You can see the system launches the call and that I have one active call going right here. On this call, I have options that you're familiar with. So I can mute the call, I can access my keypad. I can change the audio source. So if my headset's about to die, I can flip it over to something else and place Rose on hold. Recording the call is something you probably will want to steer away from. There are legal issues there. Contact your admin if you want to try it. I can add people into the call. So if I want to make this a 3-way call, 4-way call, etc. Remember that you can do up to an 8-way call total. So that's 8 and yourself, or I'm sorry, that's 7 and yourself, 8 total. To do that, I would just click on add here, type in the number or the name of the other person I want to conference in, number or name, and then hit call. Okay, you will not have call recording available, so don't worry about that one then. You can see now that I have 2 active calls going. If I click back on that dial pad, that goes to here. You can see I can have 1 call on hold. I can flip back and forth. And I can just merge the calls together like so. Now this is what we call a conference call. That means it's limited to 8 people. If you need to promote that to a full conference bridge, you can do so by clicking here. That means that you are now, instead of just using a 3-way call system, you're basically creating a new number that exists only for the purpose of conferencing. When you give people that conference information, the dial-in number, it will allow up to 1,000 participants. So significantly more than just 8-way calling. Hopefully you won't need 1,000 participants, but there you go. You can also see that I just hung up on Rose. So now it's just Santiago again. I've ended one portion of that call. Are there any questions so far? Okay, cool. Let's talk about transferring. Transferring is something that people do all the time. In order to transfer a call, so let's say from Santiago to someone else, I click on transfer. And again, I can type in the name or the number. So I'm just going to say Rose here. I can see Rose is busy. So maybe I will transfer to her voicemail. You get 3 options for transferring. Santiago calls me and says, hey, I need to talk to Rose. I'll say, sure. I click transfer. I type in Rose's name. And I select the type of transfer. Option 1 is just to send it directly to Rose's voicemail. Rose will not get notified until the voicemail pops up. I can blind transfer it. That's where Santiago connects with Rose directly. I drop out, and Rose says, hi, who is this? How can I help you? She won't know who's calling. Or I can do a warm transfer. HS teacher, you probably might not be looking at the same app. Make sure that you're looking at the RingCentral phone app. That is the critical one here. There are different app versions, like I mentioned. You want phone. If you downloaded a different one, you can uninstall that and install RingCentral phone. The blind transfer, like I said, does not give an intro. A warm transfer does. So this is the one we usually recommend. If I click warm transfer here, then I get to talk to Rose first, and I'll say, hey, Rose, I've got Santiago on hold. He needs help with something. His kid needs to get picked up from school. We need to make sure we've got this particular project completed, etc. Rose will say, cool, ready to go. Then I click warm transfer again, and it will complete. And Rose can say, hi, Santiago. I understand you're having an issue. I'm happy to help. So it's a more positive experience for those that you transfer around. Any other questions on calling? If not, we'll move on to some other functions of the app. Okay, so let's just leave that call running for now. You can see that at any point, I can flip back to that call by pressing up here. For now, let's move on. I can still access my dial pad. So even though I'm on an active call, your lines aren't limited. You can do other outbound calls or take other inbound calls, up to 10 total. The next feature here, if we move one to the left, is the HUD. HUD stands for Heads Up Display, or Lines of Presence. Essentially, this means that you can see what everybody is doing with the system at any given time. Super useful as a receptionist, a manager, secretary, anybody who needs to see who's available and what they're doing. So you can see I can just scroll down this. This does allow up to 100 people. In order to do that, click over here on Edit, and then click on Add. You will again choose somebody from your contacts list. Let's just pick somebody at random here. You got to hit Save. You can see this goes all the way up to 100. I hit Save here, and now I have everybody displayed. I can see Santiago was on a call with me. Alex is eating flapjacks. James Bond is available. Busy Bobby is busy, etc. So apart from the obvious visibility, like at a glance, seeing what everyone's doing, I can also one-click call them or text them. Because I'm on an active call, I can immediately transfer or add. So if somebody says, hey, I got to talk to Rose, I can be like, cool, and one-click transfer. Or someone says, hey, I need to talk to you and Rose. Great, I press add. Someone says, I need to talk to Nat. Oh, I'm sorry, she's busy. I'll send her a text, let her know to call you back later. That's your HUD, heads-up display. Do you have to add the people to your HUD, or will it be automatically populated with staff? You will have to add it yourself. It will not be automatically populated. Good question, Paula. Thank you. Any other questions so far? Okay. One more to the left is my contacts list, like I showed you. Kathleen asked you if you get a text, just go to email. Yes. I'll show you texting in more detail here shortly, but the short answer is yes. One more to the left then is your call log. It logs your calls. Here's all my calls inbound and outbound. And here's my calls that I've missed. You can see I can just one-click on this little icon here, call them back, text them back as I wish. There's the call log. Yes, the phone app is called RC Phone specifically. Call groups is an admin thing, so that you'll have to talk to your administrator about to see if you have permission to do so or not. Yes, you can do that. You might, like, yes, the system can do that. You specifically may or may not have permission to do so. Next thing then is your messages tab. This is basically where you see all of your messages. So that means all your voicemails, all your faxes, all your texts. Now, the cool thing about RingCentral is that it has turned your number into a smart number. That means it kind of acts like a smartphone. The number is capable of calling, conferencing, just like we've already seen, but it's also capable of being a fax number. So you can send and receive faxes from your own number. You can similarly send texts from your own number or receive texts on your own number. So you don't need to use your personal cell phone number at all. You can just use the app. My voicemails, you can see here I can listen to the file or I can read it because the voicemail is actually transcribed for me. This whole file here, so audio and video, or I'm sorry, audio and visual, are both sent to you via email, yes. And you can always check your voicemail via email instead if you prefer, or turn that off if you don't like it. Faxing then. So faxing is pretty cool. It works just like you would expect from a physical fax machine, except it's over the internet instead. So if I receive a fax, it just shows up in my messages tab under fax. You can see here, I can view the file, I can download it and forward it on. To send a fax then, I click down here in the bottom middle, compose fax. That pops open this blank fax page. Type in the name or number you're going to send the fax to. Again, that can be internal or external. So one of your colleagues or an external third-party fax number, fax machine, something like that. Choose a cover page or create your own custom one. Fill out the info, who you're sending it to and why. And then you drag and drop the file in. Or you can click on this little paperclip here and choose the file that way. And you hit send. Either send it now or schedule a time to send it later. If you want to send it an hour or the next morning or something similar. When Ranger gets this, it'll show up for him in the same way because he's an internal user. So messages and fax for him too. Questions on faxing? Okie doke. Texting. Very similar. If you, by the way, if you have a question and I just keep going and I don't give you enough time, say it. Just interrupt me. It's fine.
There's actually a list of questions. You want me to read it off to you?
Sure, hit me.
Okay. Do you have to add the people to your HUD? Or
Oh,
will it...
you mean the questions in the chat? Yeah, I answered all those, but I'll go through them again real quick.
Okay.
So Paula, the answer to your question is you do need to add them yourself. It will not be done automatically. Kathleen, if you get a text, just go to email. Yes, just like a fax or a voicemail, it will go to email. Kate, yes, the phone app is called RC Phone. And Oliver, or A. Oliver, yes, you can create call groups. Potentially contact your admin to see if you're actually allowed to do that.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for keeping me honest on those. Texting then, just like with faxing or voicemails, it's all received in your messages box. Click on text here, and you can see I've got my text history. Again, this can be internal. So here's me in Ranger. This maybe is not the most stimulating conversation. Another question, is the voicemail we already set up working with this, or do we need to set up again? If you set up a voicemail for RingCentral, you mean earlier when you activate your extension, yes, it'll apply to this too automatically. Although you can change it if you want. So here's texting internally, but it works externally too. So you can see I had a customer here send me a message and a picture message. So this is both text and picture messaging. And again, it will be coming from your RingCentral number. Even if you're using the mobile version of this app, which is what I'll show you next, you're still not using your personal number, personal cell phone number. To compose a text, you click down here on compose text, just like you would with faxing. Type out the name or number. Again, this can be multiple people. Kathleen, that is an answer I don't know. I believe that's gonna be a question from MJ, but I think yes.
Actually, no.
No.
Because even in our Google contacts, they are not preloaded. So you're welcome to load them into your personal contacts on RingCentral. Martin, is there a way to bulk upload?
Yes, but only as an admin.
Okay.
Another question then, if we download the app, we can receive, can we receive calls on our cell through GDS number? MJ, is that the number that they ported over or a different one?
No, if they have the app is connected to your GDS number.
Okay.
So you can receive call from your GDS number.
The question from Seekenberry, apologies if I'm pronouncing these poorly. You have not missed that yet. We haven't actually done using your cell phone yet. That's the next thing we're going to cover. Yeah, don't stress. The sync feature for contacts can work. Yeah, you just got to go to your contacts here. So a bulk upload is different than what I was talking about. So to sync your contacts, you go to settings down here at the bottom, and click on your contacts, and then make sure that it's synced with the correct email server or calendar server. Okay, so like I said, texting, type out the name or number, type out the message, hit send. Now there are two different options for texting. There's group texting and normal texting. So let's say I want to text Ranger. Make sure you're texting the number instead of the extension, right? So here's the number, and then I'll say Nat as well. I'll give her number too. And now you see I get this message, send message individually. What that means is if it's checked, then I will send a message to Ranger and another message to Nat. So if I type like hello, oops, hello, Ranger says hello, and then Nat gets hello as a different thing. No, you cannot save a text group. Well, I guess you can if you just create a group through your contacts. It's not going to be saved directly through here, but you can create a contacts group in your calendar or your Outlook and then save it that way. So yes, indirectly. If I uncheck this, now I'm sending a group message. So I send hello, and Ranger and Nat both see my message, and they can respond as a group. So it becomes a chained group thread, versus multiple individual messages. Again, you can send this internally or externally, so I can add in external numbers as well. But do keep in mind that if you're typing in somebody internally, you will need to choose their number and not their extension, or it will not allow group messaging. It's got to be all numbers if you're doing group messaging. Any questions on texting? Yes, the extension is just for phone. Good question there. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna move on because we got a lot else to cover. But again, stop me or tell me to go back if you need me to. Overall though, is everybody comfortable with this phone app? So if you're using this via your desktop, not your cell phone, are you comfortable doing this, or are there any gaps that I missed? Thank you, Kate. All right, if I hear nothing else in the next 10 seconds or so, I'm gonna move right along. Okie doke. Sure, yeah, I can try to transfer from desktop to cell phone. That's doable. So in order to do that, you start a call here. Okay, so I have that running on my phone app. Now your mobile app will look more like this thing. I'm just showing you not on mobile because I'm not logged into my mobile on my test account right now. But the idea here is that this is what you'd see on your mobile device. It's displayed a little bit differently, but you'll get this banner up at the top. Hey, Oliver, I'm not actually sure about that one. Single use only, that's new for me. Send a message to your admin about that. Anyway, sorry. So I'm on my desktop app right here, and then pretend this is my mobile app. You will see this switch call to this device. All you gotta do is click it, and it flips over. You can see it hangs up here, and now it's running on this version of the app. So on your mobile, you do the same thing. And you wanna flip it back. Boom. Now I've switched back to my other device, my other app. Easy peasy, yep. It's pretty slick, actually. I use it all the time. If I'm out running an errand or something and somebody calls me, I can pick up on my cell phone, and then as soon as I sit down, I just flip it back to my desk phone. It's great. Okay, that's the RingCentral phone app. No other questions, we're gonna move on to the mobile app. What I'm gonna do here is actually just join our meeting via my mobile phone. So give me just a moment here. I'm gonna share my screen on that and let you see what it looks like on my actual cell phone. So give me just a moment here. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen temporarily. Now you can all see my screen here. So let's look at the RingCentral mobile app. This is what your main page will look like here. You can see that I've got my phone option down here, video and messaging. The one you're gonna focus on mostly is phone. So I click on phone here, or tap on it rather. I get this page here. We had a question about how to make a call. Kathleen, to answer your question here, you never want your physical phone to ring or your cell phone to ring? Your app phone or your mobile phone? Because yes, if you don't want it to ring, just don't log in.
Can you repeat your answer?
If you don't want some app to ring on your mobile or on your desktop, just don't log into that. And then you're good.
Is it log in or just the app open?
Log in. If the app is not logged in, it won't receive a call. But if the app is logged in and not open, you will receive a call. So you don't have to have the app open at all times to get a call through it. Like I can shut down this app entirely, and I'm still able to get calls through it if I want to.
Does quitting log you out?
No, you need to go to phone here, and then here. Wait, where's my logout tool?
I'll find it. Thank you.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, go to the bottom of sign out. Settings, sign out. Or of course, you can just edit your settings here to just turn off notifications on this. So I can go to settings, mobile notifications, and then just turn it off.
I'm not just talking mobile.
Oh, you don't want anything to ring at all? I guess
that-
just turn yourself to do not disturb then. And then you'll never get rings, you never get calls at all, as one option. See, I can click here on edit and then change my status to do not disturb.
Wait, I
And
want
now,
calls. I just don't want to answer them.
then yeah, do not disturb, because then it'll go straight to your voicemail.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so nobody call her. So yeah, here's my phone stuff. Here's my calling. You can see my call log. Click on this little dial pad here, and I can make a call. So we had a question earlier, how do I make a call from my mobile? This is how. Note that you can see right here, if I click on this, lets me choose my direct number. You're gonna want to choose your own direct number. You can see it's got a pop-up here showing my cell phone. Just don't tap on that. And also don't write down my cell phone number, please. Any other number that the company has given you access to, we're obviously a phone company, so I have, a couple. You're going to want to focus on just the one that you have, which is your direct number, the number you're already used to. And that means that any outgoing call here will send out. It can't do video and calling at the same time. Thanks, MJ. So that's calling. That answered the question that we had earlier from Mr. or Ms. Sickenberry, that was showing you what you needed. Ruiz, or Jay Ruiz, apologies if I'm just going to say last names here. Ruiz, yes, you can have calls ring on both or either. Yeah, Sue, thank you. What I'm showing you right now, what you're seeing is my cell phone screen. So this should be what you see on your cell phone app. When you download the RingCentral app onto your mobile device, you'll see this. Exactly. So yeah, if I want to make a call from here on my cell phone, I just tap here, type out the number you want to call, and then hit the call button. And it will call from whatever number is displayed right here. That's kind of cool that you can see where my finger is. Nifty. That's calling. Of course, I can sync it with my contacts list, just like you'd expect. Search for guests, people who are not part of my company, but are still someone I've communicated with. Personal contacts, so anybody I download from my own cell phone. Teams that I've joined. This is how you can do Teams in general. So yeah, exactly, Sue. The idea being that if you're making a call or communicating via text, for example, so you can see I can click here on text. I'm going to be sending a text from my business number, my 720-608-4669 business number, instead of my personal cell phone number. So if I want to send a message to my buddy Matt here, just type out his name, type out the message. Oops. Hello. Test demo message. Hit send. Please ignore my misspellings, my fat fingering. And you'll be able to see that this is sent from my number instead of your personal cell phone number. So yeah, the kids won't have your personal cell phone number. They'll always use your business number instead. Voicemails are here. Texts are here. Faxes are here. And of course, I can compose a fax by clicking down here. I can compose a text by clicking down here. Or I can compose a call by clicking on the dial pad in the corner. Any questions on the mobile app so far? And MJ, do you want me to show them messaging or not?
Which messaging is that?
Instant messaging.
No.
Okay, then don't worry about the messaging tab, just ignore that. And you're gonna focus on the phone stuff. Phone and video are the two you care about. For video, you will wanna link this to your calendar. If you have not downloaded if you have not downloaded the, like an Outlook calendar or a Gmail calendar on your cell phone, you won't be able to select a calendar here, but you can if you want to. To answer the questions we got in chat, so from Paula, do you set the from number only on the phone page? Yes. So phone page, dial pad, then the from number is what you're looking for right here. I don't know why it keeps popping up that my cell phone here. I want this one, 720-608-4669. So yeah, you'll choose your default caller ID. So it wants me to call that number. All right, whatever. He's trying to be helpful and tell me what number I've got copy pasted so that I can call it more easily. Thank you, RC app, but not right now. Okay. Next question we got then was, do we get an email if someone sends us a text? The answer is yes. You will get an email with the body of the text and the info, like who sent it and when, every time you get a text message or a voicemail or a fax. You can even set it up for missed calls, although I usually have those turned off because they get annoying. Let's go through some settings here. So if I click on my phone app right up here in the corner, this little 3 bars, you're going to want to focus on settings. So mobile and email notifications, like I said, you can turn on or off mobile notifications. Probably want to turn off messages here, but you'll want to leave on missed calls. Join now is, hey, you have a meeting. Do you want a notification? Another question, if I turn on do not disturb, will texts still come through? No. Well, they'll come through later when you turn off do not disturb. But as long as that's turned on, it blocks all notifications until you turn that off. So it just sort of backs up your notifications and stores them until that is done. Email notifications then. Again, you can turn off notifications here if you want to. Kathleen, you can silence all incoming calls if you want. We had a question about recording your voicemail reading. If you want to re-record that, you can do that here. Your default caller ID, remember that this needs to be set to your number. So if it's showing you your personal cell phone number or some number you don't recognize, tap that and fix it, or contact your admin. Contacts and calendar syncing. Contact settings here where you can say, do you want to access your device contacts, your personal contacts, maybe yes or no, Microsoft yes or no, Google yes or no, etc. Oops, it's gonna make me do a thing. Let's just ignore that for now. Calendar sync, same idea. And you can sign out here if you need to. So that's the gist of the mobile app. Thoughts and or questions?
Tuan and I are here also if you have GDS specific questions on using RingCentral.
I had a question. I heard from, I think it was Tim perhaps, that we could possibly sync our contacts from my GDS to our Google contacts, which we could then sync to RingCentral. Is that accurate?
If the first part is true, the second part absolutely is true. If you can sync that Google to GDS, which I don't know if you can, that'll be a question for MJ. Then yes, you could sync from there to RingCentral, from Google to RingCentral, definitely.
That I'm not familiar with, but I'll get back to you on that.
Cool, thanks.
And then I'm sorry, I had a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, like, just generally, intuitively, it just makes sense for me to hook this up to my cell phone. What's the benefit of having it on my laptop? Or why would I want it on?
It really just depends on your preferences. So some people, like me personally, I'm sitting at my desk all day most of the time. Since I'm working from home, I'm really just at my desk all day. There's not a lot of point for me to use the mobile version of the app. It's easier just to use the desktop version because then I'm using my nicer headset. It's linked to my computer, so it's easier. If that's your workflow, yeah, probably do it on your computer. You know, if you're spending all day on your computer, might as well do it through your computer. If you are more on the go, you're wandering around the house, maybe you're one of those people that just gets up and walks while they talk, something like that, your mobile might be more useful because then it goes with you. So it's very much a personal preference thing. Either one has the same functionality, just depends on what is easier for you to access, cell phone or desktop. Because either way, you can link a headset to your cell phone via Bluetooth or link it to your computer. The trick is that sometimes cell phones can't accept, or like most of the time, a cell phone can't do a USB headset hookup. So if your headset is USB based, it'll have to run through the computer.
Thank you.
You are welcome. By the way, guys, this is our last topic, so I'm going to just wrap up after this. So if you got anything else, like now's the time, and I'm happy to do a little detour and go over anything else that we might have missed. Or like I said at the beginning, if there's any gap between what you do now and what I've showed you, even if you join late and miss something, I don't mind going over it again. Really want to make sure that you guys have what you need to get this going. Paula,
I would like my, oh, sorry.
Let me just answer this real quick. Paula, can I choose DND on my phone and have a different setting on the laptop? No. If you turn on DND, it turns on DND for you as a user across all platforms and can be turned off the same way. Yeah, go ahead, Kate.
I was just going to say that I'd like not to get my phone ringing. I'd like to go straight to voicemail, but I wouldn't mind getting texts from the students. Is there what combination of settings would I do that for that?
Sure. So on your desktop app here, go to View Settings, go to Calls. For incoming, just don't display the call at all. Outgoing. So just incoming, just turn off the call notifications essentially. On your mobile version. Oh, I just realized I wasn't showing your screen. I just realized I was showing the wrong screen there. Okay, I'll show you the mobile version first real quick, because then I'll flip back to my screen share. Sorry about that. Settings. You know, notifications here, and calls and texts.
Sorry, could you go slower? Does this look different on an iPhone? I'm trying to find where you are.
It does look a little bit different on an iPhone, yeah. Sorry,
so
I'm on an Android.
The first thing is under my profile. Is that where I am?
To be under your profile, and then settings.
Call settings, extension settings, or mobile app settings are the three.
It's going to be call settings.
Okay.
So we can find that in here. Incoming call handling.
I only have a couple choices here. Under call settings.
Yours might display a little bit differently on Android or on Apple. I'll send out some additional resources at the end of this training so that you can get more info on this, because I'm not.
You have a lot more settings than I do, yeah.
Yeah, the Android gives you a lot more options. So there's a lot more stuff I can do here to play with this than you'd have access to.
But the long and short of it is,
well,
what are you turning off and what are you turning on? I guess I'll try to.
The easiest option is just turn on Do Not Disturb, because then as long as you keep an eye on your oops, where am I going here? Status in a meeting. So you click on this in a meeting status right here. Then I click Do Not Disturb. And then you just keep an eye on your email, because when you get a call, you will still get an email notification about it. Even if you have Do Not Disturb on, the email still comes through. So just keep an eye on it that way. And then if you see a text come in, you can just briefly turn off Do Not Disturb. You'll get the notifications and then turn it back on.
So you will get an email notification when you get a text on DND or not?
A text or an email, or text or a voicemail or a call or anything, yeah. That's how it notifies you that you still got something.
Okay, so it doesn't just batch all the texts just because you're on Do Not Disturb. It still tells you in an email form that you have the text?
Right, the Do Not Disturb blocks all notifications via the app.
Okay, but you'll still get an email on your GDS email?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're in the middle of teaching a class, you might want to turn on Do Not Disturb. Okay, other questions? No? All right.
Hey guys, Tuan and I are going to open up a Zoom after we end. If you want to continue some questions, or we can like help you set up your app if you want. So I'm going to send an email with the Zoom link in it.
If it's easier, I can just leave this meeting running for a bit.
No, that's okay.
I can just make you a host and you can run it. However you want to do it. I'm fine with you, if you want to just, I figured it'd be a little easier, but yeah, if you want to start a new meeting, that's fine too.
Yeah, because sometimes we will break out into breakout rooms.
Okay.
So
Okay, cool. Well, then I'll do my wrap up here and let you guys go. So today we went over activating your RingCentral extension. Then we talked about the RingCentral phone app and the mobile app, the two versions of RingCentral you'll be using primarily. And now we're doing our wrap up. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's a lot to RingCentral. So hopefully I did a good job today, but either way, there's always more to learn. So the last thing I'm going to provide you are some additional links for you to get some extra help or support if you need it. And I'm going to put these in the chat. I do highly recommend writing these down or copy pasting them somewhere, because these links will disappear when the chat ends, when the meeting ends. First one here is support.ringcentral.com. This is going to be where you go if you're having a technical issue or problem, something that we can help with. This is what it looks like. You can lodge a support ticket, or you can call our support line, 24/7 line. The next link is university.ringcentral.com, which is this right here. RingCentral.university is where you can go for additional resources, training, extra help, extra learning. If you're having questions on something, that's where you can go to make sure that you get your answers. Next link then is ringcentral.com/apps. If you don't have the phone app or the mobile app, that's where you can go to download it. And then the last one is a survey. This is a survey for me. So if you have a moment to fill this out, it does take about 2 or 3 minutes. It's pretty helpful for me just so that I can know where I can improve. Of course, there's always ways I can get better at this. So it can be anonymous if you wish. The important thing to me is going to be any comments that you write. I take it as a personal favor. If you're willing to write anything there, positive, negative, constructive, etc., read them all, and they're all helpful for me. And the survey link is right there in the chat. And with that, we're done. So thank you very much for your time today. I do greatly appreciate it. Welcome to RingCentral, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a good weekend.